It's another episode of that MG Midget, the little black midget that's in my workshop. Enjoy it. And before we get in, it goes without saying, check you're subscribed. If you think you are, check. YouTube unsubscribes people. No idea why. If you're not subscribed, why not? Please consider it. Helps the algorithms. Comments down below helps the algorithms. Thumbs up helps algorithms. Thumbs down helps algorithms. All of this stuff helps algorithms. Spread the channel. Spread the love. Spread the MG Midget love. If you fancy contacting me, then it's Church House Classics, and that's all one word, @gmail.com. And if you fancy supporting the channel or just buying me a pint, then there's a PayPal me link scrolling down here. All donations are gratefully received. Thank you very much. Enjoy the video. You honestly wouldn't have thought for such a tiny little door it would have been such an absolute bastard to get apart, but it was. So my top tips really here is stand you up right there. The regulator's got to come out through here. The glass has got to come out through here. The quarter light channel will only come out if the glass is right at the very, very top. And then my camera's filthy. Clean the camera. The glass will only come out through the top, and the quarter light mechanism, which looks like that, needs to come out, but it's got to come out that sort of angle. So the glass needs to be right at the very, very top. Then you need to pivot the glass while you're trying to extract this. Not a lot of fun, folks, but it's out. The good news is the door shell itself is actually in really bloody good order. I'm going to clean the underside of it up and probably just give it a lick of paint, to be honest, on the inside. It is in really good order. So yeah, nothing wrong with the door other than the fact that all of the mechanisms that were in it are either shagged out or seized up. So let's rest the door there. That should stay there. You are going to stay there. Great. The regulator mechanism. You can come down here now. You can come down here. So the regulator mechanism, what have I done with the winder handle? There's the winder handle. So the problem with the regulator mechanism is we have got that much slack in it, which I suspect is due to the fact that it has been working so flipping hard. That's the bit that goes in the base of the channel, the glass channel. This bit fits on the middle of the door, that goes to the front of the door. Now it's off the car, all of the pivots are actually freed up and they're moving, so I suspect the problem was with the felt channels, but because the glass is so horrifically scratched, I was thinking about changing it anyway, but it all needs to come apart first. Then we've got the rubber that goes on the outside edge of the door. The felt that goes on the inside of the door doesn't look too bad. I don't understand why it was so stiff. And the rearmost channel. Now that felt there, I think, might be our root cause. And the main reason for that is, well, it's shagged out. So we're going to have to see if we can't get hold of some new felts. If I try and get this out, what's it telling me? Only 10% battery left. Right, give me 1 second. Let me just plug this in. This has been my day today. I tidied the bench up especially as well. Right. Oh yeah, that's done that. Now, if I move the regulator over here and out of the way, I'll try and get the felt out. And it's almost brittle. It's so shagged out. I just think new felt's probably going to do the job here, and if I can find another drop glass, then fantastic. There's enough of these things made that I would have thought drop glass is probably the least of my worries. You can see the sun shining through my workshop door, getting a rare bit of warmth. suddenly became October. Really don't know what happened to the year. It's been glued in as well. Probably to stop it rising up as you put the glass up and down. Now that's out, you can see on this inside edge here, there's no felt left on it, it's just rubber. So that would have, that's what it should look like. And the rubber's just worn out. So I suspect it was grabbing the glass. So I can go back in there, I'll see if I can get some new felt. So I'm not going to push it all the way in because it would be silly, Richard. And then the other thing we've got here is we've got this rubber that goes on the underside of the quarter light, which similarly looks like it's probably something we could replace, because it looks like it's got a bit of heat damage on it there. The quarter light itself is in relatively good order. The rubber is passable, it'll work. We're not exactly talking about the best condition midget in the world, but I think it'll work out all right actually. Right, that's okay. That's okay. Now the other thing is, you can see, and I didn't do this because this did eventually come out. You can see that line there has then got a twist about here. So what I wanted to do was to find out whether this bend here, was what was causing the glass to fail, to rise and fall. You can see it comes down a nice curve to about there, and then it bends that way, bends up. It's entirely possible that the whole thing's just got twisted out of shape at some point, which is possibly why I was having such a struggle to get the bastard down. But no excessive force was issued. So if I was to, let's put the door up on the seat. So I'll put the door up here. Let's get the tools out of the way. Let's put the book down so we're protecting the bottom edge of the door. There we are. So when this comes out, it comes out at that sort of angle. Okay, and that goes down and in. Now that all still lines up at the bottom edge down there. Does seem a bit strange. Does seem strange. Oh, I see what was causing me so much aggravation to get it out. It's on this forwards edge. Let's put this door back over here again. That lip there was catching underneath the leading lip on the front of the door. That's what was causing that. But that still seems to me, it's straight down that edge there. It's just twisted here. Oh well, we'll have a look at another one. We'll have a look at another one. Right, some bits for me to order there anyway, at least. But we have progressed forwards. Doors stripped down. Glass, it is a bit beyond it. So if we go over to the glass, which I've very carefully stored on the roof. Let's get these bits out of the way. Oh! And glass gets turned over. You could see it earlier on. I mean, even here, if I hold that up against the light, the vertical scratching on that right the way across, it's like it's been sandblasted. I mean, it could be part of the history of the car, but if we've got the door apart to this sort of level, we might be worthwhile changing that. Now, one thing I didn't look at, of course, was the other door glass. Oh, it's come off its block. Let me raise the other door glass up, rest that on the running strip on Mr. L95. Now this glass looks infinitely better. There was a little scratch. That was just a bit of dirt. So this glass is fine. So one on the other side. And that one you can see runs up and down really neatly anyway. I'm just going to leave that resting up there. It's not resting on the paintwork, it's resting there. Not that I'm particularly worried about the paintwork on this because it's going to get repainted and I'm not even sure I'm reusing these doors, but a bit of respect for your car, Richard. Right. Now, while this is all apart, the other challenge I've got is... I've only got the flickering light here, folks. That's not looking great down there, is it? That really is not looking great. I'll hold everything nice and still. It could well be that we've got a bit of welding to do on this, and I've got no idea how I'm going to attack that. It might be. Oh, that's always good when you find big lumps of filler. There we are, filler. So there you are, filler in there. That's the bottom of the A post gone there. It's not like it offers any real structural rigidity, is it? Now it could just be that I can make up a piece to go on the inside here. But it wants to be nicer than that. It really does. Get the lights up there again. There you can see the mess we're talking about in here. Can't really see, Richard. Utterly fucking useless. There we are. Utterly fucking useless piece of footage. But you can see the challenge I've got there. It's not horrific. Probably do it without disturbing this outer panel here. There's remains of a sticker or something there. It's almost like this car's had a blowover at some point, isn't it? But all of the seams and everything are really nice elsewhere. So it's just a very, very, very localised area of rot there, which we can fix. Fix fucking anything we can. Right, let's get up to tidying this door up. Right, a brief distraction from doors. I've been pulling off the cooling hoses, and most of these hoses are absolutely and utterly shagged out. Probably not been off in a very long time. Interesting use of double Jubilee clips there. One of these was actually glued onto the T-piece. I think it was this one here. This one here was fun. Which end? That end. So this end was glued onto the stub. All the water that's coming out is the most disgusting stuff I've ever seen in my life. Is there a date stamp on this? Can't see one. It's neither shit nor apples. It's an old heater hose, Richard. Now, the next one I took off was the top heater hose that goes down to the back of the engine here. How do I say it wasn't even fitted on it? So down there, sorry for flickering light, you can just about see the stub there. There was nothing attached to it. It wasn't attached. And it looks like the top end of the stub is actually dissolved anyway, because look, if you look down here, there's the bracket that holds it onto the exhaust area, and there is no stub there. So I suspect if I look in here, I'll find the remains of the stub, I should say, in there. Yeah, the remains of the stub is inside there. So that's possibly why it's been overheating. The liquid that's been coming out is not pleasant. Really, really, really not pleasant. But never mind. So it looks like we're going to give this thing, once I've got all these hoses and everything off, and I've got a shopping list for bits that I need to buy, then I can get on with that. Now, the main reason for actually doing this is because I wanted to get the fuel line replaced. This little short length of fuel line goes across the back of the engine to the pump. Let's take the non-flickery torch with us. Goes across the back of the engine to the pump. Tiptoe past all of the cooling stuff. Now on this side of the engine, we've got the pump, and then we've got a piece of flexible hose which goes down to the rigid hose which goes off to the back of the car. And really I want to replace that rigid hose that goes across to the back of the car. That's my main objective here. That's what I really wanted to do this morning. It's now this afternoon, and I'm no real closer to it. There's been a few distractions. It's not been 100% full on this job. I have fitted the prop shaft back on again. So Mr. Prop Shaft is back on. I don't know if you can see down there. I'm not getting all the way down there. And I was then going to bleed the brakes, and I thought, no, let's do the fuel system while we've got it up in the air. Drained out 15 litres of fuel. That'll go back in it again afterwards. And then, like I say, the challenge then, I'm trying to work out what on earth is going on with these heater hoses. So I'm going to see if I can't get the bracket off the back end of the engine there. I could do with having a rough idea of what it looks like. But it looks to me, because that's the stub that was glued on there. You can see all the residue. And you can also see all the staining, the blue staining that is from the leak of the antifreeze. So it's all a bit kind of sheddy really, and the stink of this horrible rancid old antifreeze. It's not nice. Right, I'm going to carry on with that. I thought I'd just give you a quick break as to what it is I am doing. And if you actually look inside, you can see that there is, I mean, I'm not anticipating there's going to be good flow through the radiator. Let's be that blunt. Also, look, the engine mount appears to have split down there. Is that split? No, it's not. It's a metal bracket. That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. I live with that. That's not split. Yeah, and the missing stud there on the exhaust for some reason, or missing nut, I should say. There's a nut in my workshop. Right, onwards and upwards. This is not proving to be a bunch of fun that I thought it was going to be. So the broken stub, which is there on the tip of my finger, there, is actually attached to a long pipe that runs all the way through, I believe, to there. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get that out easily with the manifolds in the way. So the next thing I'm going to do is take the manifold off. Carbs are off. I need to overhaul the carbs anyway. And we are out. Now I am going to say that whoever invented these fixings here, which go on to like a crow's foot thing that holds the exhaust and the inlet manifold together, but with that being so close to the underside of the inlet manifold you can't actually get a ring spanner over it, nor can you get a socket on it, nor can you do anything with it other than work on two flats. I'm going to suggest that your parentage may be in doubt, old chap, because that is just the most stupid design I think I've ever come across in my life. Now I've just found another flexible. Now this is all off. Down there I can see a flexible fuel line. And it's shit like that that gets missed when you're replacing all of the fuel lines. How about that? So that's going to come out, and then of course I've been up here scraping all the bloody paint off, and that wasn't white, that was bare steel. Right, so now we can see this heater bypass pipe here, which is the one that's rusted off at the end, and you can see it's completely rusted off there. So that comes off. I want to get the thermostat off, I want to get the radiator off. I've had enough of this job now. This is no longer amusing me, because it has taken me just over an hour to get that manifold off, and that is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. But at least I can order the bits up now, and it can go back together again. It can. Now I need to find out whether that stud is knackered, which is why it didn't have a nut on it. Well, that wine's on it okay. Might just be a little bit gnarled up, but no, I couldn't tell you. Might end up replacing all the studs, we'll see. I honestly think we are doing more good than harm here. The main reason for that is, yes, it's off the engine. You can see that end there. It's just completely rotted out. But the fixing is still on the engine. I was undoing the nut and the pipe just fell off. So I suspect that it had rotted through, probably because it spent a long time, maybe without antifreezing it, I don't know. It really doesn't bode well, does it, for the rest of the cooling system, but we will see. So that comes out of there, and there, in there, you'll see there's the remains of the pipe in there, literally just snapped off. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, going to get busy with ordering parts. Now that's off, I can actually see what is going on in here, which is good news. It also gives me a lot more room to change things like the bottom hose. There's not a huge amount of room on these with the twin carbs. There's an incredible amount of flaking plate here, though. Flaking plate. So I might wedge something over the top of the exhaust and see if I can't just wire brush all this loose shite. Tons and tons and tons of it in there. Look. It's all. It needs something nicer than that, really, doesn't it? Well, the radiator's out. Now, that brown sauce on the floor, or is it stout? I don't know. That came out of the radiator. Not pretty, eh? This was a bastard to get out, I'm telling you now. Mainly because most of the fixings were seized in. Oh, look. I think we found the brake light switch that someone was looking for at some point in the distant past. There's all sorts of shit going on down here. It really is. Now, the other thing that's slightly disappointing, as I noticed when I was pulling one of the hoses off, there's evidence of oats in here. OAT. Don't mix your oats and your glycols up, folks. It just ends up getting really sticky and messy. But now the rad's out, I can give that a bloody good flush out tomorrow. It's a really tiny rad. I've seen motorcycles with bigger rads than that. Right. That's actually hit my target for the day now. To get the radiator out. Which has ended up with me taking all the inlet and exhaust manifolds off and removing the heater bypass pipe. And the job I didn't get done today, which I wanted to do today, was to replace the fuel line front to rear. That can happen tomorrow. Right. I think. I do. What a nightmare. Right, we are there though. So, I can just sit down there for now. Coffee. Going out for a beer actually, yeah. My boy bought me this. It's a good judge of character. Naughty little radiator. But it's out. Now, while we are... let's just stand that there. So I'm going to stay there, it is. Probably just need to double check the water pump is any good. This whole engine bay really does want a massive jet wash out. Might even take the heater box off the bulkhead there so I can paint underneath it. The rest of it I can paint around, but I think what's happened is at some point it's had someone's sprayed like schutz or something all over the place, and it's just flaking off. I mean, look, all the paint is just flaking off. That's all going straight back down to bare steel. So I don't quite know what's happened, whether that's just heat damage or whether that is really high quality Leyland paint. I think cleaning it up is going to be fairly straightforward. So I think I'll just be able to do it, to be honest, with a blowgun. And then I shall put some of my rust converter in a spray gun and just spray it over the surface and then paint it. Right, I've had enough of that now. I really have. But it's nice to hit a target. It is nice to hit a target. Well, it's a nice pair of door hinges I sniped off eBay there. These are come from the Welsh MG Centre. Found them on eBay. Look at that. Bloody good service, chaps. Thank you very much. In came with all the fixings in a nice little jiffy bag. So they used, they work beautifully. The pin is fixed into the A-post mount and it swivels on the actual door mount. So that's good. I'm going to fit those shortly, but there is some other work I need to do on the A-post first and foremost. Primed and painted the radiator surround. It'll need another coat shortly. The weather is brighter today, nice and warm. That storm over in America, hurricane, whatever, is pushed some blue clouds over our way. which is most pleasant and welcome too. Right, I'm going to get on with doors today on this because I'm fed up with radiators. So I have ordered up all the felts and so forth, so I'm going to need to take the passenger door apart as well. But before I go anywhere near any of that, I need to... Let's get this door off because it's actually not fixed on the hinges anyway, and I need 2 hands. By magic. Right, okay, so I need to get the bottom hinge off this side and work out what on earth I'm going to do with that rusty hole at the bottom of the A-pillar there. It's going to be a very, very, very small patch, I think, but I need to make up a nice repair section to go in there. That's going to seal it. Yes, and other side, we'll probably need to get some lighting. Now, the other thing I managed to find, and these are fairly widely available, but these are the seals that go at the bottom, at the bottom of the quarter light here. They look a bit better than the crap that came off the car. Yesy McYes face. Right, now let's crack on with this. Where am I going to go to? I think get that door hinge off first. I don't video all this stuff, folks. It's just hours and hours and hours of footage, and I know people say to me, you don't show me how to get it off. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to get an impact wrench. If you don't know what an impact wrench is, it is going to be the most useful tool you've got in your workshop. And it's one of these bastard things. That might not have all the bits in it. No, that's... Here, here's one I bought when I was... So this is Taiwan Talco. I've probably had this since my Ford Anglia days. And what you basically do is you put the screw, choose the right fixing, put it in there, turn it in the right sort of direction, turn the handle in the right sort of direction that you want to undo, and then belt the end with a 3-pound hammer. And invariably, it will undo the fixing. So let me demonstrate, because you guys want to watch, I'll let you watch. Okay, so we found the right sort of screwdriver bit. They're not going to undo under normal circumstances, so we put that in there. Now I'm rather hoping that this was going to come out, because it looks like the fixings are relatively new. So I'm then going to, oh, the torch works down there, I'm then going to rotate it as if I'm undoing it, and before it loses grip, I'm going to give it a fucking good belt. And there you go, screw comes out. One screw, one. And then we've got a few more of these. This one doesn't feel quite so promising. Oh, it came out. No, it didn't. It just turned on the, I think that one is a, oh, that might even be a hex fixing on that one. Someone's reused old screws on this, which is never a great idea. Because they invariably will be fucked, as are these. So the problem I've now got here is because the screws are ancient and someone has been silly, they've gone in there and they've really kind of like chewed over the heads. So I can either hammer a hex socket in there, and I got a few of those, or use the Dremel to cut a slot on it, or not bother with it. But it realistically needs to come off because I need to make that repair to the pillar right underneath. There we are. You can see down at the bottom there. So it's up both sides. I need to cut it off. It needs to happen. So I'm going to have to find a way of getting these fixings out, and you can see they're particularly chewed up. And I think if I was to film all this lot, we're going to end up demonetising the channel. If you get my drift. You will get my drift. I know you get my drift. Right, there's one of them out. You can see the challenge on that. So the only way I could do that was by using the biggest of the impact screwdriver heads and repeatedly bashing it into the head of the screw. And it's conceded. Now, what I'm rather hoping is, now I've got 2 of the 3 screws up, I can rotate the hinge, and it might just make the last one easier to get out. You probably won't be able to see anything, folks. It's probably going to be a completely futile gesture attempting to video this, but this could be our moment of glory. Might have to get some releasing fluid in there. You bastard. Is it coming out or not? Let's just try one of the other sized bits. That one's slightly smaller. Oh, that's never undoing it. Might be undoing it. No, it's not undoing it. It's so here, rather than cursing the cretin with his thread lock, we're cursing the person who reused old fixings to put the door hinge back on. But these are all challenges that we face on a daily basis when working with old cars. And there's not a lot you can really do about it, really. It's nice to have a car that's been completely unmessed with, but that's unusual. So I will continue to persevere with this. I think we've missed the money shot on that one for now. Flipping thing. Anyway, let's get it off. Let's have it off for now. I was just observing this because while I'm rotating the hinge backwards and forwards and trying to get it to decide what it's going to do, you can see how much flex we've got in the bottom of the A-pillar there. So it definitely needs repairing, and the hinge definitely needs to come off. So we are kind of into a catch-22 here, whereas the hinge needs to come off in order for me to fix it, but I can't get the hinge off. So I will continue to work at it. Yeah, just down here you can see how much flex on the bottom of the A-post. We'll fix it, definitely fix it. On this side I'm a bit worried that I might end up having to cut into the side of the bulkhead here, but we'll see what we can do. Well, we resorted down, the final option on this unfortunately was to drill the head off the bolt, off the screw, machine screw, hold the captive plate in place using a couple of 1/4 inch UNF screws, and then drill through. And I'm just in the process now. Oh, I've drilled it out to about just over 5.5 mil, largely down the centre of the hole on the captive plate. The problem I've got is if I wanted to replace the captive plate, I need to cut this off. Captive plate is part of this panel. It's actually formed as part of that panel. There's no other way to access it that I've been able to identify. Now, I don't think this warrants cutting the outside of the car off. I think we need to make a localised repair to the bottom of the A-post, and had that screw come out, I'd have been the lion's share of the way through that by now. Now, I did attempt to use this very expensive Mac Tools RBRT extractor. It wasn't going anywhere. I was worried really about getting myself into such a hole that I would end up cutting the fucking A-post off. So I opted just really in the end just to keep drilling. Now I need to concentrate on this because I don't want to be snapping this tap off really. And then let's go and pop this other stuff away because nice new drill bit I've got there, 4mm drill bit, because I'm out of 4mm drill bits. I need to get some more. This set's all right on drill bits. This set of drill bits is okay, but they're very, very, very soft. So I tend to use a lot of lube. But for the cost of the drill bits, it came with this marvellous box, which is probably the best part of it, to be honest. But every single one of these drills, even though I've used lots of lube, they last kind of one cut and then they're dull. So that's why the ones that are upside down in there need resharpening. Yes, I think, but it's dug me out of a hole. Right, cutting that tap, then I can get in there with the finger file and take out the bottom edge of this A-post, tidy everything up, make up a repair section, weld it in. And there we are, we've tapped it. So, recovered the thread in the captive plate without destroying the A-pillar. That was a faff though. It's taken me just over an hour to get that hinge off because someone reused old machine screws, but these things happen. Like I say, it's not unusual. You take a hinge off. I mean, they're stupid fixings anyway because they're crosshead machine screws. I may have some decent 1/4 inch. Oh, my brain is completely not working today. Some 1/4 inch machine screws, hex headed, socket headed. That's the word I'm looking for, socket headed.